Now I can go?
You
Sorry.
could, yep.
We're gonna call to order the special village board meeting Monday, March 2nd, 2026, 6:30. If you could all stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can we get a roll call? Can we get a roll call of
Oh,
officers?
sir. Andrew Bartley, Roseanne Guide, Sarah Heisler, Chris Fleer, Rose Sowers, Kevin Schuler, and Dan Wall.
Do we have to do anything with the consent agenda?
There are minutes on there to be approved,
Okay.
I believe.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the village board meeting minutes from February 9th, 2026.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed. I guess we are moving on to 4.1. Public hearing will take place at 6:30 regarding an application submitted by Matt Manzik to rezone parcel located at Lot 2 on CSM map approved by village board from M2 general manufacturing to RM3 large multiple family, resident district. I know a lot of you want to speak. What we're gonna do is you're going to raise your hand, go up to the mic, state your name, and everybody gets 2 minutes. Once the public hearing is closed, there is no more time to make any more comments, just so we're all aware. So if someone would like to start, there you are, hands raised.
Good evening, board.
Could you
My name
clear-
is Thomas Kalesa.
Just gonna
I
say
live on 921 South Avenue in Belgium, Wisconsin, happily so. I only have 2 minutes, so I'm going to try to get through this quick. I implore this board to seek questions before there are answers. And my questions are full disclosure on who is about to develop this, the investors, the backers, the developers, the owners, and the managers. Who is going to be involved in our community? I implore you to please consider the following, that in this community, there are no resources for grocery stores, department stores. Well, you know this community better than I. If you bring in hundreds of people without resources, there will be issues. I also implore you to consider that the ingress and egress to that area will be funneled down into strictly a residential area where the speed limit is 25 miles an hour. That is asking for problems. If this so happens to go through, question, will this developer be required to develop another egress and ingress to that community, to the, where they have easy access to the interstate? Silver Spring Road or Silver Beach Road. Why don't they develop that and not funnel all this traffic right into residential areas? The strain on our infrastructure. I know you're going to consider this, but I implore you, sewer, fire, who is already understaffed. And I want a big shout out. Fire department saved my life 6 months ago and deserve the credit, but they're working on a shoestring, and you know that. All of the infrastructure here is going to be taxed. I'd like to know how many units, how many more people, how many more cars are going to be added to this community. There just are a lot of questions. This may be good for the community, I don't know, but there are a lot of answers that need to be put in place before this is even considered. And finally, I implore this board, how close am I?
You're done.
Okay. I implore this board to please consider no tax breaks to add to the burden on this community.
Absolutely.
Okay, nope, that's not gonna happen. We're not gonna do that. There's only gonna be talking at the podium. There's not gonna be any outbursts, nothing at all. I will close it right there. Who wants to go next? Go.
Don Gotcher, I live at 247 East Reading Circle. I think that this is something that this community needs. If it's done right, we need this. We've been stagnant for years. And he talked about no grocery store, anything like that. You need a community that when the community grows, these types of things come into the community. And I've lived here for 19 years. I'm fairly close. I'm not on top of it. I'm fairly close to it. And I think the people that are building this or are going to build this, I think they will take into consideration things that have been said so far tonight. And I just believe we need it. It's something that was needed years ago. And if you don't like to grow the community, I'm sorry about that.
Go ahead.
I'm counting 2 minutes now.
We got you. You're all right.
Wanda Ehrlich, 317 La Roche Lane. The gentleman that spoke first, he said a lot of it, but I'm on the fact that we need to know the owner. We need to know what, we have to sign our names and address. We should know where they live and coming in and buying and where are they buying from, the property from? To me, that makes a big difference. We're the community that's been here, and we're going to be saddled with the extra traffic, the water supply. How is that going to be handled? How many units, how many levels, stories, all of that information before anything moves further. I'm real close to it, but the people on the north end are going to suffer from the noise. How long is it? What's the time frame of the construction? How many phases of the construction? Those are my important pieces. That's one 2 minutes.
Go ahead.
My name is Tom Geckler. I live at 336 North Reading Circle. I called the Ozaki County Sheriff's Department the other day just to see what kind of coverage they had in regard to the total entirety of Ozaki County, which goes from Freistadt to Belgium. They have 4 sheriffs per shift to cover all of Ozaki County. I tell you, if you have an emergency situation, though, they will have to investigate with longer lead times. We don't have a police force. If you're going to have 200 people concentrated in an area, that's going to generate more calls. Highway accidents will get top priority on this thing too. They're going to have first priority if there's going to be any need for a sheriff. The emergency services can barely handle our community as it currently stands, as the first gentleman said. And the Ozaki County Highway Department, we talked to the head of John Edgren over at the Ozaki County Highway Department, and he was asking us questions about this because he didn't even know anything about it. He asked us about the access to the complex and what the speed limits were, and we told him it was 35, and then it goes up to 50 just down the road. We told him that Germard Road is the only way in and out, which will put stress on the entire on entering and leaving KW. The scale of the project is too tall and too confined in 8.5 acres. The noise and the lights, I live right over the berm on the other side, will affect our neighbors' privacy. And my guess is that this project, if it is approved, will expand to lots 1 and 3, and eventually will overwhelm this natural area with additional structures, more people, and expansion to more units. And that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. That was under 2 minutes. You did 154. Thank you. Yep.
My name is Jean Geckler, and I live at 336 Reading Circle. I have in my hand here a protest petition signed by me and 50 of my neighbors that I'd like to present to the board. Okay, and before I do that, I'd like to address a few things of my interest. Where we are going to be right up against the berm, and on the other side is going to be the parking lot for all the cars. So this is going to be an invasion of my privacy with the lights on that are on, the lights that are going to be on during the evening, and also the noise of all the cars coming and going day and night. Also, there's going to be other lighting. When the cars pull in, the way he has the structure with the parking and the buildings are going to go north and south. As they pull in, those lights are going to be coming into my backyard. This is an invasion of my privacy. What else? Okay, the scale does not with the neighborhood. We are a single level condominiums on the other side of the berm. Now you're going to put a 2-story. And let's see what else. All right, the same thing that everybody's been saying, the infrastructure, the schools, sewer and water, emergency services, and also the loss of green space. And what else? And I don't know if any of you would be pleased to have this as an encroachment of your property. I'd like you to address that in your own scenario if this was approaching your property. So now I would like to present you with the signatures that I have and petition. Thank you.
You're up.
Pat Wester, Belgium Fire Chief, for those of you that don't own me. I did also receive a few calls inquiring on the status of our fire EMS service able to handle this proposal. So I'm a very data-driven person. I make my decisions based on data. In no way is the fire department leaning for or against this proposal. I just want to present some data that can help the residents in the village with their decisions in the future. This proposal is, I believe, approximately 120 units. I wanted to compare what that was, what 120 units was equal to our subdivision or to our village. Currently, so I figured I'd just take the existing Ardennes, Northeast Reading, South Reading, West Reading, and all the roads in between. There's a total of 78 single-family homes, 31 two-family, and 2 four-family condominiums for a total of 111 units. The proposal is 120 units, so it's pretty comparable to the like adding an additional Ardennes subdivision. Of that, I went back on our call volume from 2025. We had a total of 12 calls in the Ardennes subdivision. 9 were EMS calls. 2 of those were fire alarms, smoke detectors going off, and 1 vehicle fire. Of the EMS calls, 49% were for the ages of 60 years and older. 48% were for ages 59 and under. I'm not sure what this proposal's age group is, but this is just some data for the boards to look at. Again, so that's 4% of our call volume went to the Ardennes subdivision. We responded to 290 calls last year. 12 of those went to the Ardennes. Just some national statistics that I pulled from Image Trend, which is the data that we submit our data to. So it's not all EMS calls in the United States, but there were 11 million patient contacts in Image Trend last year. And of that, approximately 17%, 49% were for ages 60 and above. So it's pretty much 60 is kind of the age bracket where the call volume really spikes. So I'm not sure what the target group of this development is, but I think that's something that the village can be looking at their data. Almost about half of the call volume is 60 years of age and older. So if you have any other questions, just feel free to reach out to me. More than happy to give some more data, but something I got together.
Thank you. Anyone else? Should we have Matt speak? Or Christie?
Matt, would you like to add anything?
I think that gentleman
Oh, you wanna, oh, sorry, I didn't see it. I didn't, yep, go ahead. If there's other.
My name is Paul Poirier, at 340 North Reading Circle. This complex is going to be in my backyard. And what I'm hearing is a large parking lot. We don't have any details. We don't know really how many units they are. Are they going to be 1, 2, 3, or 4-story? For sure. We were told at the last meeting there was going to be underground parking, so parking shouldn't be an issue. I understand that's off the table now. So we were misled at the very first meeting. If we do have this open parking lot, I want to see restrictions. I don't want to see any commercial trucks parking there overnight. Because it is coincidental that this complex is going up at the time when they need housing for the construction of that abomination down in Port Washington. So I don't want to see any corporate renting of these units for their employees. If we're going to say this is growing the community, I want it to be permanent community people. No short-term rentals. And I'm still waiting to see actual details of what is really being proposed. When do we expect to see that?
He cannot apply for a building permit or submit plans until it's rezoned, so that's what this is about.
You can't, or
rezoning it.
they don't have to.
Well, they don't have to, but.
There's a
he can't-
difference.
We can't, well, he can't.
If you're being
apply-
above board, there's a difference, okay?
We cannot
I'm sorry, I
consider-
spent 40 years in business.
Okay, you gotta
I
let
know
her,
the
you gotta let her
differences.
answer your
You
question.
asked the question I was trying to answer. We cannot consider building permit applications on a property that isn't zoned for the plans. So he can show us plans, and he has, but we can't consider them as a village.
So when are we going to get to see them? Is the question.
When are we gonna get to see them?
Jesus.
Brad, do you have any comments as to this?
Well, I would, my recommendation
Oh,
is,
sorry.
I'm like, what is going
No,
on?
that's not, what is that? That's not us. That's not this.
Somebody's calling in to, can I speak to the live stream?
No.
No, I don't have anything like that allowed.
Okay, that's
So-
what that was. I was like, what is going on?
Well, hold on a
so
second.
my recommendation is to continue with the public hearing. Let's get all the comments from the public, make sure they're all received. And if the petitioner wants to make some statements, certainly can do so as part of the public hearing. And then the board can discuss the items and hopefully address some of the issues that were raised tonight.
Okay, I have another question. Can I ask?
No, please,
Okay.
public
At the
hearing.
podium.
Yes.
Okay. So my question is, well, Jean Geffner, 336 Reading Circle. My question is, are we going to be able to see the final plans before there's a vote?
As far as,
As when you vote on the plans, are we going to be able to have a meeting before, when he submits his final plans, are we going to still be able to address anything on there?
Brad,
Well,
can
we
you
don't have to answer, Mike, thank you for the questions, and these are things that, just to get through the public hearing,
Mm.
like, we're taking notes of some of the questions that can be
Mhm.
discussed, so I think that's the other gentleman's point also. and so-
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but this isn't a give and take, this is,
Yeah.
the public hearing is just to receive comments right now.
Okay.
And
I
we
understand.
appreciate your,
And I have another thing to say. We don't want to turn into a Grafton. We don't want to turn into a Cedarburg. We don't want to turn into multiple apartments in Mequon. There's a reason why people move to this community. Not to be those communities with multiple apartments and people coming and going. We moved out here for a purpose, to keep it as it is.
I'm gonna say something too. This idea of having all these new businesses coming, I think is ridiculous. I don't think there's gonna be a big rush to have new businesses here. It's just not, it's Tom Gettler, 336 North Reading Circle. I talked to a couple people and they thought it was gonna bring in all kinds of new business. I don't understand why they have to have all this new business. There's a nice, quiet community here. You had Allen Edmonds once, you had a fire that went to Port Washington, and we have the we have the food plant here, but I don't see it's not like a depressed area or anything. So why bring in all these new businesses? Do you want a bunch of chain stores here? Like they got out down in Grafton, the Targets and, all that kind of stuff? I don't want that here. We came out here from Cedarburg because it was getting too damn big. And we decided we wanted to have a nice, quiet life out here. And now it's going to be spoiled by what's being planned here. And that's the way I feel about it.
Is there any more public comment? Oh, I couldn't see.
George Stair, 271 Levain Lane. Now, having a commercial area next to the subdivision that I'm in, I'd rather leave the thing either all commercial or make it all residential, the whole thing. You're gonna have to put out Nate's lawn service, you're gonna have to put them out, tear them out, plus that cement, whatever that cement place is. I don't even know myself, and I live right next in the subdivision. I just don't think it's right to go and take part of this and make it residential, put up a 2-story, and what's gonna happen is you're just gonna end up people moving in and they'll be wanting to get out right away, because would you like to live where you can look down at a cement company, or at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, you're gonna have a lawn service wake you up in the morning to go to work? I think you're gonna screw that whole area up if you don't go one way, or one way commercial or one way residential. And I know most people don't want a residential because they don't want the 2-story there.
Was there someone else? You said there was him. There we go. Nope. Sorry. Because the microphone doesn't pick it up. The microphone doesn't pick you up back there. Correct.
No,
We have-
it's not being recorded. It's being streamed for people who requested to watch it.
Thank you. Okay, so I got a couple questions regarding the impact as far as home value and taxes. When we speak of land being bought up, rezoning, I'm assuming the rezoning already took place, correct?
That's what
you're.
Okay, so I was misled. Okay, so it hasn't been rezoned, but the impact to me is, I moved out here to enjoy the farmland, and I ride bike a lot, and I see that the bike path is going to be closed. I hope it's for reconstructing it or improving it, and not just the data center garbage. But with that being said, the gentleman that spoke about short-term rentals for the people at that property, that's pretty scary in itself. The parking lot facing the subdivision on the north side, that's, why can't they put it on the other side? That makes so much more sense. But I see the resources with the water. Can we even handle that with the size of this town? And we have absolutely no resources for people to want to move out here. And then I think demographically, those apartments, if they're anything like the ones in Grafton and on both sides by Myers and on Highway 60, they're getting $2,000 a month for rent. And I just don't see demographically how that equates to that building being plunked in a small little town. Where are they coming from and what can we offer them? No.
No.
Marie Poirier, 340 North Reading. And I just have a question. Now, you've listened to comments of these people, and it's up to you guys to rezone, correct? Are you taking an effect of all what we said, or are you just sort of going to think, well, I think we'll rezone it.
Well, that's, if we were gonna do that, I don't think we would have,
Had a meeting.
correct.
Okay, all right, I'll trust you.
Is there anyone else that hasn't spoken yet that would like to? Yep, go ahead, Matt.
Do we want to show up on the screen? Or-
Do you want me to?
I'm fine with it. I'll just start by saying, I've lived in the community my whole life. I live in the town of Belgium.
Who are you? Who are you?
Matt Manzak is my name. I think it's on all the paperwork. And I've been doing meetings with the village board and the planning commission since late fall. And I have a construction business and I do a lot of work in the area. I live down by Harrington Beach State Park, and I have my construction business is out of the village. I bought the old co-op property on Elevator Lane, and my brother owns a business back there too. We've lived here our whole lives, and I just thought this piece of land, when it went for sale, I thought it would lend itself nicely to developing it with multifamily, given that it's right there already. And the buildings, what I came up with a little model because I was just playing around with it, but the buildings wouldn't be any taller than the four families that are there. And I would love to do underground parking. That's the plan all along.
We can't understand you. You're just mumbled how tall it's gonna be and everything.
Yeah, the
Please repeat.
four family buildings that are there already in the Ardennes, these buildings wouldn't be any taller than those. And as far as underground parking, I would love to do it. We're studying what the water issues are out there and whether it's going to work or not to have underground parking. But I'd absolutely love to have underground parking. It would, the size of the building that you see right there, you can get 36 parking spaces underneath. So that would only leave about a dozen, maybe 12 or 15 spots above ground. And I think it'd be wonderful. I said to the board right away that we'd like to develop this area with green space. We thought it was a nice opportunity with the dog park, making a hiking path, or it's a dog park, or the inner urban trail. You know, the whole point of this was not to come in and shake up Belgium and turn it into a dump. It was just to take advantage of a piece of property that I thought would lend itself nicely to this kind of a development. So the RM3 ordinance that we looked at developing for this has a minimum of 14 units per building or 24 units per building and only 2-story. Now it can have parking on the first floor, so that would raise it up some, but
And you're talking 3-story?
if there were parking on the first level, similar to like the 4-family buildings, then it would raise it some, but we have a maximum height with RM3 of 40 feet.
Okay, but what you're talking about, the 4 families and the height of those, there are only 2.
Right,
2. The rest of us are all condos that are single level homes.
yeah.
How close is that second, the middle building? How close is that backing
No.
up to our condo?
Okay,
It would meet all setbacks. I mean, there's minimum setbacks.
What is that?
I did this one night at my kitchen table, just kind of having fun.
What is the minimum setback?
I think it's 50 feet on the side yard. I'm not sure of that, but I had that model is done over a Alta survey where the surveying company, when I purchased the land, mapped out all the setbacks and all the utilities. So that hashed area to the west of the water tower, that's all utilities. So there's areas where we can't build anything at all because of utilities that are running from the water tower to the village in the Ardennes. So the buildings were kind of just placed around where there's utilities we can't build over. But that's right, what you see right there is maximum. That's 120 units in that 8.5 acres. And the density is it 14.5 units per acre?
I would have to pull up the ordinance, but it's.
I think that's what, I have
I
a
think
copy
that's
of
what
it
it
right
was.
here.
But the density.
The density
when
is
you
exactly
compared
the
it
same
to
as.
Our dens.
No,
or
nope, nope,
acres,
nope,
it's not
nope,
that
nope,
103.
nope. We're not doing question and answers. He's gonna,
The density of RM3 is the exact same density of every other property in the village, including the Ardennes.
Just for clarification, we're still under the public hearing, so
Yeah.
we can let the applicant speak and then
Yeah.
the board will have opportunity to discuss. The whole purpose is trying to get all the information out to the public during the public hearing.
right.
There was concern about and other investors and this big group of people coming in just to wreck Belgium, and that's not the case. It's myself, my son Ari, and I have an older daughter, Madeline. It's the three of us. And Ari and I work full-time building every day, and we want to construct this ourselves, and we want to maintain ownership of it, and we want to manage it. So there's nobody else. It's me going into Port State Bank and getting on my knees and asking for a bunch of money. And I'd like to build some really nice units, not vinyl siding, not asphalt shingle roofs. There's some really nice quality buildings that are going to hold up for a long time, and that's what we're trying to do.
I hope you spent a lot of time thinking about landscaping. You get ways of maybe.
Nope,
blocking.
nope, 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 nope.
Well, I did like the
Nope,
berm
sorry.
that's there right now. No intention of taking that down, and if anything, just planting more trees. It just makes a nice natural break between it. It was another reason why I thought this property lends itself nicely. If anywhere in the village to try to pull something like this off, it would be in this area.
Are you done, Matt?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Did you have?
Just a couple of questions I have. My name is Rick Gorg and I live at 330 East Reading Circle. If this project is to go through, is our sanitation treatment facility going to be able to handle this amount of population? And the other question I have is, they're going to be allowed to have pets, especially dogs, with that amount of units? It's just a question. You know, I don't mind pets, but when you've got that many apartments and you've got dogs bark. So, and there was another question, but I guess I kind of forgot. But those are my two key ones, and especially the parking lot, because that's right by the berm. It's going to be right into our backyard or our patio. And if you're going to put that many vehicles there and it's lit up like a airport parking lot, it's going to be bright all the time back there. So I think maybe they could readjust parking so we don't have all those lights shining right over the top of that berm, depending on what kind of lights they're going to put in.
Go ahead. Yep.
Just like Tom Colessa, 921 South Avenue, Belgium, Wisconsin. I'd just like to do a follow-up. I heard Mr. Manzek say that he was interested in taking advantage of the facilities that we have here. I did not hear any contribution. I heard take advantage of the water, take advantage of the path, take advantage of the dog park, take advantage of Belgium. I know construction, I do, and I know that 3 people will not be building this facility. It will take an army of people and an army of equipment to build this kind of facility. I know you mean well, I can hear it in your voice, but this is going to have an extreme impact on this community. Take a look at the facility that's going in just north of the YMCA and how long that's taken. 3 people are not going to build something like that. In 6 months, a year, or 2 years, the construction equipment will be there a long time. There are a lot of questions to be answered, and I thank the board for your time, and I would thank you for answers to these important questions.
Yep.
I think they're 2 minutes or so.
Be quiet.
I agree.
I'll take 6 minutes,
No,
in 2 minute
you won't.
increments.
All right,
Okay, my point is, please consider that we do have a petition of 50 of my neighbors that have signed that in regard to the rezoning. And like I said, our biggest issues are going to be the parking lot lights that are going to be loss of my privacy because they back up right to my property. And also the fact, the cars, the noise from the cars, day and night, coming and going, that is one of my biggest concerns. So 2 of my biggest concerns. And then he added another one when he said it might go as high as the other 4 family or the other condominiums that we have that are 4 family, that there might be another added, am I correct on that? Another added, it might be higher than the 2-story?
The maximum height is 40 feet.
Okay, but I mean, you're
think
not.
Those existing ones are at 35.
Okay, and that in itself will add more light coming into my backyard and my invasion of privacy.
anybody else like to speak? Okay,
I just have a question for Matt.
yeah, but we're not doing question and answers. This is not Q and A.
When is there going to be a Q&A session?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. What was that?
That's important to us.
So I can speak to that. So
Thank you.
under Wisconsin statutes and the village code, this is across the state of Wisconsin. This is not unique to the village of Belgium. The rezoning amendments and rezoning property, such as this petition, it's clear that, again, what we're doing tonight is a process for the public hearing to give the public an opportunity to give input, ask questions, but it's not set up as a question and answer format for everyone here, quite frankly, because we never, ever get through anything if that's the way they're done. And so the legislature of Wisconsin, the village code sets forth this process. So any questions, comments, certainly now's the time to get them in front of the board. And then the board will have opportunity tonight, or again, when, depending on what action the board wants to go with or take on this, to get into some of these issues and questions, concerns that you all have raised here tonight. So, but there won't be, and there never is typically, any sort of question and answer format where it's just open dialogue. So if the applicant wants to stand around afterwards and talk to people, that's certainly up to him. That's not part of our process here with the village.
And I'd just like to add something here, which is for any of our citizens that are concerned that we're not taking your comments to heart. I got 2 pages of notes from what folks have said tonight, and I will seriously consider those in my discussion, and I think we all will, so.
Yes.
I just got one that I forgot. Do I have to go all the way around?
No, it's because other people can hear it.
I'd be against
I'll throw you a
having
bone.
a retainment pond. Okay, a water retainment pond, because there's 2 of them off of KW, and some of the people I know that live there, in the summertime, it's a mosquito heaven. Okay, and they can't even go out in their yards in July and August when you have that big hatch. So, I mean, that would bring a lot of mosquitoes in the tank instead of retaining pond.
That berm already floods in springtime.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Oh, sorry. It's fine. You were both very close to each other, so it was one of you two.
I'm Sheila Berenbaum. I live at 293 LaRoe Twain. My concern is the amount of traffic that's going to be on KW now. Because it seems like there's going to be a lot of houses that's going to have extra traffic on there. That's my main concern.
No, I think that lady, wasn't that lady next?
Yep, that's what I was pointing at, and then, yeah.
Hi, my name is Karen McCouts. I live at 328 East Reading Circle. This does impact my backyard also. And ultimately, you said that, well, my question is the density. I don't know of any apartment buildings here that host 24 apartments in one building. And within the lot line that you have in lot 2, you have 3 buildings right here, that's 60 units. We have probably, well, you have it down here. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8. So there are 8 people living in the same density that you're putting 60 with parking. It's huge and impacts all of us, plus the traffic on KW. And if you think that it's comparable, it's not. They're mainly 2-family.
You
We have
should
a
be
few
addressing the
4
board.
families.
Yeah.
You should be addressing the
Yeah,
board.
not him.
Well, that's what, yeah, you have to consider that. And that's exactly what he's planning on building. When I went back and looked at your minutes, I have a feeling you already approved the development.
No, we can't.
Well, in looking at some of your minutes, I see, there's the number of units, parking slots, addressing the number. It's out there on your website.
Right. But that doesn't mean anything's approved.
So after this meeting, it could stop. We could stop this from development from happening. And the money that he put into the purchase in August of this past year, if it's not going to change over to residential and stay in manufacturing, then you'll sell it as manufacturing.
Yep.
That would be nice.
You can't. Your time's up.
That would be nice.
Time's up. Yep.
My name's Leon Cease. I live on 364 North Reading, right along the berm, right behind that company that you're going to redevelop. The whole issue I have is taxes. My taxes have gone up considerably since we moved in. We were one of the first people that moved in those condominiums back in 2006. Our taxes have risen incredibly high. Our association fees to take care of our properties have gone from $90 a month to $360 a month, just for them to cut grass and to shovel snow. It went from shoveling snow from 1 inch, now it's 2 inches before they shovel snow. And they only shovel along within a 6-foot radius of the garage doors. Okay, so, and that's fine. It has nothing to do with what's going on here. I understand that. But the point is, our expenses have gone up, increasing by an incredible amount over those years that we've been. We were one of the first people that moved in to the condos that we live in. Okay? And there's been an extensive exchange before the last 4 or 5 years when the girls, we have a great group. We all stick together, we help each other out. The point is, if you move those people in behind us on the other side of that berm, first of all, it's lower income people that are going to be moving in there. Don't tell me any different. We're going to have problems with a lot of things, including damage to our properties, the noise, especially if they move children in there, they're going to be running all over the place. And who knows what's going to happen. Now we got to worry about our properties being vandalized, people breaking into our properties. First of all, our police force is so minimum. No, thank you very much for your time.
I didn't know that.
But all I'm saying is that you guys got to be careful.
Yep.
Because there's a lot more things you're looking at than just redevelopment. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Don, do you have?
No, somebody else.
Okay,
Somebody
sorry.
else. We need to let first timers talk before we do doubles.
Never done this. Joanne Raisler, 370 Reading Circle. The only thing I have to say is I don't understand. This is now zoned as for manufacturing. So you have either you could have a manufacturing company come in and make noise, traffic. It could be a factory, it could be anything that could keep us up all night. Or we could have an apartment building to come in, and I don't think it's gonna be low income. And if, excuse me, some people have to start. It doesn't matter. Not everyone can afford a $2,000 a month or whatever. Who cares who comes in? All I'm saying is I'm very confused. If it's zoned for manufacturing right now, we can bring in loud companies, correct?
Correct.
Correct. So it's either a residential area or a manufacturing. That's all I have to say. I just was confused. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now.
So Don, you.
Nope, he's okay. Yeah, you've already, no, you've already done, you've already had the 2 minutes. No, you don't get 2 minutes every time. Yes, thank you. I was gonna ask you.
Christy Knowles, Sheriff for Ozaki County. I hear a few people talking about law enforcement and it's my agency that responds. In the Village of Belgium, we are not contracted. We're here, we split up the county. Yep, gentleman over here said we have 4 deputies on from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. We have 3 deputies on from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. It is minimal. We do a great job at responding to whatever, when anyone calls. There are times we're not in Belgium at all because we got other stuff going on in the county. You know, when we patrol, we divide our area up in the county up into 4 areas. So there's 1 squad usually up in Belgium all the time. And then gets called off to the interstate or other areas when we get major calls. You know, bringing in 120 units, you know, you're talking about traffic. Yes, there will be more traffic. We will be up here to do traffic control. It would be nice to see more than 1 way in, 1 way out, because one car per unit. Usually there might be 2 cars per unit. So it's going to be a little bit more traffic, but without data showing when a community grows, what does that, how many more law enforcement or fire EMS do you need to support that? I don't have that data. To have about, you know, the 120 units, you know, will there be more calls? Yes, there will be more calls in the community. Do you think, I believe we can handle it, but that's just going to be time to say, okay, you know, if it's more, we're going to have to just keep track of that to see what kind of calls do come in, you know. I can't predict if it's going to be, you know, nothing or, you know, once a day, twice a day, I don't know. So it's hard from a law enforcement standpoint to predict what it is and predict traffic if people are law abiding, which most people are. there shouldn't be many problems at all. But that's, again, me speculating. So I don't know if anyone has questions on the law enforcement side of things.
It's not just 100, it's 3 times that.
Right.
So it's 300
Ma'am,
apartments.
ma'am.
So,
Nope.
yeah, until we have that information, I can't give direct answers to what's it gonna do to the sheriff's office. I mean, there's always something to consider with contracting. We do it for nothing right now, right? And I have no problem continuing it that way. If it's where the village wants to see more of a presence, that's something the board will have to discuss. If you want to contract to make sure that there's a officer in the village from a certain time period, for 2 hours a day. That's something that other communities do. I would say that we are here more than that right now. So, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay,
Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
motion's been made and seconded. Do you guys have any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, so 4-2. Approve plan commission's recommendation to the village board to approve the rezoning application submitted by Matt Danzig to rezone lot 2 as shown on the CSM to RN-30. In my opinion, I think we got a lot of good feedback. I don't think this is something that we should vote on tonight. I think we should table it, have some discussions, and then make our decision and hopefully be able to answer everyone's questions. With our decision, we'll be able to answer those questions that you all have. I think Rose took a lot of good notes. I got a lot of questions on here, so hoping that, we'll discuss it, answer questions, whichever way we go, as to why not. And I think that's the best way to handle it.
I agree.
I'll make a motion.
That discussion has to happen in open meeting, though. You guys can't.
Right,
go-
right.
Oh, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
But we were given
not
a
gonna all
lot to
get together.
digest, so I think
Right.
it would be imprudent to make a decision this evening. I think we need to really chew on this, so.
Right,
Do our due diligence.
to our due diligence.
In these situations, oftentimes what happens after the public hearing, the board's inclined to table this. The comments that were received tonight, the questions, a lot of times the applicant will take it upon their own volition to come up with, and this is a recorded proceeding, so go through, try to come up with responses to all the questions, concerns, and that's something, if the applicant's willing to do that. We have limited staff here. We don't have a village planner that's on staff, so in a situation like this, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have the proposed developer, petitioner, put something together that would be something that could be shared back to the village, put on the website, being available to people that they can see it possibly then before the next meeting, if that's the direction that this board decides to go. A couple legal comments. I'm the village attorney. I know someone presented the protest petition tonight. And I recognize that it is in our village code, and it's in a lot of local municipality codes around here. However, I just have to advise you that the protest petition for many years was a standard thing where if you had a certain percentage, 20% of the neighboring residents, that require a higher vote to approve something. Okay, and in most cases, it's called the supermajority vote. Our code, the way it's worded, requires it to be a majority of the entire board. So it's not just the members present, so it's a 7-member body that required the majority to pass. However, the state of Wisconsin, the legislator took that away from local municipalities a few years ago. So the protest process that requires the heightened approval has changed, and it's nothing to do with any local municipality in the village of Belgium. It changed from the state legislator, that we can't do it that way anymore. So even though it's on our code book, it's something that we can't enforce under state law. So just to be clear about the protest petition, it can be taken into consideration for what's been presented, but the legal protest process, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, is no longer available under state law. Okay. I don't know if there's any other legal questions. I think the only other thing I could clarify is the ordinance that would allow for that this property is being petitioned to be rezoned to, that is a separate process, and that's something that has been addressed already. So I think there's comments about things they see online in minutes, so that has to do with the ordinance. This process has to do with a potential rezone, which is a legislative authority that this board has to rezone property. And the use is, again, currently zoned under the industrial, under the M2 general manufacturing. And then again, the petitioner here is asking it to be rezoned to the newer RM3 large multiple family residential district. So just from a procedural standpoint, so everyone understands, there hasn't been meetings behind closed doors or anything, worked out ahead of time. We could also encourage the applicant, the concepts, anything to be made available for the public, that, just so people have understanding of what's being proposed. But that's not the rezone, that's the next stage. If it does get rezoned, it goes to the next level for approval under the zoning ordinance, if it gets rezoned to that new district.
Thank you.
Brad, can
Appreciate
you describe the ordinance one?
Karen, you have to look at it. It's available on ordinance. You compare it to the other ones and what it allows. It's been touched on tonight, but for sake of everyone's time, it's available online.
Yeah.
Or you have it right now.
There you go. It's available in here. All right, is there any other discussion?
I think there was a motion.
I'll make a motion to table approving Plan Commission's recommendation to approve rezoning application submitted by Matt Mansett to rezone Lot 2 shown on CSM to RM3.
I'll second that.
Table it till when?
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
It's how long?
we have a board meeting next week,
Oh, okay.
so we could do it next week.
Okay.
Well, do you have time?
Do we have enough time to post it?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
clerk, do we have enough time to
Forgot
post to
posting.
next Tuesday or Monday?
To post what?
There's not another public hearing. Public
Correct.
hearing is satisfied here tonight, but the question I think has to do with all the information that's been
Is a week gonna be
raised
enough
and,
time?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were.
No, I don't think a week is enough.
And the,
Do you want to schedule another special board meeting then?
You can do that or wait till next month's meeting.
Is Sarah still able, is Sarah still on the next month?
Yes, she's
Okay, just because it would be hard to start over.
It will be
For
her
someone.
last one.
It would be your last one. I just want to, because she's part of the discussion too, so I want to make sure that
Right.
she's able to say what she wants and it counts.
yes.
Instead of starting over with
She stays
someone
on
new.
till the third Tuesday in April.
Okay, so I think April is the correct way to go. Then it gives Matt time to address anything if he wants. We can address anything. We can have, I'm not sure how we do the open discussion in board meetings.
Well, I mean, you guys can discuss anything about it that you want now. If you want, like, there were questions regarding utilities and stuff like that. Those are questions that
We could discuss now
Dan,
and.
you can
Yeah.
discuss that now, or you can ask us to post it, or, that, you guys have the power.
Okay. I mean, I think, Danny, do you want to discuss maybe like the utilities or the water? I would like you to. Appreciate you. Yes. Everybody else has to stand. Dan, you gotta stand.
My name is Danny Birnbaum. I'm the Public Works Director for the Village of Belgium. You guys had questions about the water side of the system.
We have 2 wells, 2 towers, 3 wells, we have 2 reservoirs. We're in good shape for water wise and everything. We have plenty of water available. Our treatment plant is running under 50%, so we have enough capacity there for this development. Yeah. So I don't know if you have any other questions, I mean.
Dan, I have a
right?
question.
Yes.
The question on a retaining pond was brought up. Will there be a need for that for the
Well, that's
water?
all,
Is that
I'm sure
all?
there's gonna have to be some stormwater
Yeah.
management
I
on
mean,
that
where
site
will the
someplace,
stormwater
so.
go from then if they don't have a pond?
Pardon?
Where will the stormwater end up from there? if
Well,
they
they're
don't
gonna have
a
to,
pond?
probably have to have a pond.
Yep,
I'm
okay, that's what I thought.
Probably gonna, because you're gonna disturb so many acres, you gotta have a pond and stuff like that, so. That'll all come up when he gets his engineers developing everything on board.
Danny, are you gonna kill the mosquitoes?
I sure would love to. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I also can ask, you know, isn't there things that you can put in a retention pond, such as like those aerators and things like that, that help with that?
You know, I'm not sure that, I mean, that's all a later, much later
Right.
discussion that the engineers and stuff would work if in fact it's rezoned.
Right.
You know, I don't think that the village can make, if any business were to go in there with its own now, they would also need a pond.
Right.
Anything that's ever developed there would probably need a pond. You can't say we're never gonna develop on
Right.
somebody's private property because people don't want a pond. You can't do that legally.
Yeah, that's all controlled by the DNR, so I mean, our hands are tied.
How about our septic?
The wastewater treatment plant?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're running under 50%.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, Paul does a great job out at the treatment plant. He meets his limits all the time. He produces clear water. Never had a violation out there, so. And like I say, the water, we discussed this water. We put the second water tower up in 2007. Just looking for the forward, I was after the board a long time to get another tower there, and they finally passed it, and that tower's on that end is a 300,000 gallon tank up there. Water, their tank is full, probably 9-10 months out of the year. We change our levels in the winter so they don't freeze. So, but we got plenty of water there. We have 3 pumps that kick on if we need to. They alternate. So pretty well set up.
I have a question.
No.
So that retention pond, would that relate to lot number 2, or would that possibly be in some of the other acreage they own?
Usually they size the pond up for the whole development. They just don't for one building. It'd be for the whole development out there, that pond would be sized for.
Okay, so not necessarily in lot 2 where we're talking about right now?
That we might be a little bit further away from the development, just someplace out there, they're probably gonna have to be a retention pond.
Far out as you can.
I agree with you. So, any other questions? All right, thank you.
I have a question for Sheriff Knowles. I'm
Of course
just full
you
of them tonight. On Port Washington Road, the new apartment complex that is north of Lakefield Road, is that the town of Grafton? Is that your
Village.
jurisdiction or village? Okay.
Does anybody want to discuss it?
I did make a
anymore?
I just have one more comment. There's one comment for the board to consider. Listening to all the input, there's 2 major things that I pulled out of this. There's a lot of input, but parking and traffic patterns. So as we think about this and decide what we're going to do going forward, I'd ask the developer to consider those 2 things. There's a lot of, that came up numerous times, numerous people about the parking situation, lights, whatever, and the traffic
It's just the
patterns
same lights.
going in
I
and
think-
out. So just something as the board and the developer consider leaving this meeting. Thank you.
I think my opinion on the traffic patterns is if there's a lot of people that commute to work, they're not gonna go through the town, they're gonna take Silver Beach and come up LL. I mean, that would just
Or
make,
KW.
well, to get to the freeway.
Or KW.
I'm saying, take
Yeah.
KW to,
I live right there and yeah.
I mean,
there's
that to me would be the smartest route. since they got it repaved, I think it's a great road, but you have to also remember, for years, you guys had semis going up and down that road. For
Madam-
years.
Madam President,
Yes.
just as a point of order, do we need to amend Sarah's motion to include the April meeting date?
I think you should, yes.
Can I make a comment?
I don't believe it
No.
was seconded, the motion.
So I seconded, but not the amended.
We can amend
motion,
my
so-
motion. Oh, Brad,
Go ahead.
you want me to amend it? I amend my motion to table the plan commission's recommendation, to table approving the plan commission's recommendation to village board to approve the rezoning application submitted by Matt Mansek to our April general board meeting.
And I will second the amended emotion.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Do you guys have any more discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Meeting
I'll
is-
make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's been made, we're not discussing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Go home.